welcome to Wallace State's Virtual Career Fair. We're excited to have you here at our workshops, and we really hope that you participate and you can get something out of this. Today's workshop is going to be about figuring out kind of your next step in your career. It can be really challenging to know what direction to take, and there's a lot of options out there. And so we're going to share sort of some career decision-making process tips and tricks to help you out along the way. So don't be shy about asking questions. We can see them in the chat box, and we will try to answer those for you. So first things first, let's introduce ourselves. Bethany, you go ahead.
Hey everybody, my name is Bethany Campbell, and I am the FAME Coordinator and Success Coach here at Wallace State Community College.
And I am Jamie Newman, and I am our career navigator. So I'm the person that kind of does career assessments and help folks figure out what to do and how to get where they want to get in their careers. I'm going to give you a little bit of background. So and I think Bethany might have a similar background. So my first job, I was a groundskeeper at a community college, and then I was a copy editor for a newspaper. I was a naval officer, and then a bartender, and I managed a restaurant, and then I was a whitewater kayaking guide, and then I taught high school. I was a deli clerk, a health store clerk, a backpacking guide, and now I'm a therapist. So I hope that gives you a little comfort around the decision-making process, that whatever decision you do make, it's not permanent, right? It's all kind of part of the journey. So I guess the first thing I really want to tell you is that, it's okay to not know, and it's okay to change your mind. I hope that's comforting. I see a nod. Good. Okay. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is this idea of passion. Right? There's this idea that we should just follow our passion. And I think that that's a really nefarious idea, and this is why. Can you tell me can you type in the chat box what you're passionate about? I'll give you a few seconds to do that. I'll tell you, my passions are long distance backpacking and reading, and writing. I love to write. Bethany, what are your passions?
I love running, and I love food, and I also enjoy writing as well.
Yes, awesome. Crafts, we've got softball. The thing when you ask people about what they're passionate about, they're often telling you more about hobbies than they are about a career, right? So follow your passion can be kind of disconcerting advice because, it's hard to make a job in backpacking. I did try. It's hard to make a career out of that. And you're not the only one that has that sensation. So Steve Jobs gave this really famous speech at a college graduation, and he told everyone about follow your passion. But do you want to know what he studied in college? His passions were Western history, dance, and meditation. Not computers, not engineering. If he had followed his passion, he would have been a meditation instructor somewhere, right? So that's why this can be kind of a challenging concept. Passion is actually the side effect of mastery. There are a couple reasons that people are really happy at their job. One is autonomy. So they have freedom. They get to choose their fate. They could leave when they need to leave, work when they want to work. The other one is competence. So being really good at something makes people happy at their job, right? If you're like the only person in the office or the only person, out on the field that can do something, that makes you feel good, it makes you feel happy. And the last one is feeling connected. It's, enjoying your coworkers. It's believing in what you're doing. Those things tend to make people a lot happier than if they just follow their passion. Now, the only reason I want to kind of caveat that is that obviously some people do follow their passion and make careers out of it. There are career runners, career writers, people on YouTube who make lots of money sharing their craft projects. So I don't want to dissuade you, if your heart is on something. I do a lot of my writing on the side. I do a lot of freelance work, and that's a way that I can kind of connect my passions to my job. So just be aware there's lots of ways to sort of mix and match what it is that you're into. Okay. So, and what do we do instead? If we're not following our passion, what's our other option? The other option is to develop skills, preferably rare and valuable skills. So whenever you find a job, it's really important to look at the skills that are kind of at the leading edge of your profession. So how can I describe that? So I'm going to use an example of I'm a therapist by trade, so I'll use that as an example. So really important skills right now in therapy are around addictions. That's kind of the big area that there's a lot of need. And so I made sure that I took classes on addictions and got certified in addictions so that I'm on that leading edge, so that I have a skill that has a monetary value attached, right? You want something that you can get paid for. That's an important part of it as well. So I'm going to share with you a slide, and it's in the, does anyone have any questions so far or thoughts? Does all that make sense about passion and following it, and why that can be kind of a danger zone? Okay, I'm seeing some nods. All right. So yeah, all right, perfect. I'm going to share this screen with you here. So this is a slide. It's a Japanese concept called ikigai, and it's basically a reason for existing is the translation of that word. And not everyone gets to the center of this circle in their career life, right? But it's a goal. And so when you're looking at your next step in your career, or even what you want to do, what you love is a piece of it, right? So is what you're good at, your natural skills. Everybody has a natural skill set. And then you got to kind of combine it with these other tougher pieces. What is there a need for in the world, and who's going to pay for it, right? So I actually keep this on my office door, and I keep a copy of it in my planner to kind of remind myself that, I tend to focus on what I love and what I'm good at, but there's a whole nother side, what's needed and who's going to pay me for it, right? So Bethany's going to talk about kind of a way to explore the concepts of ikigai on the computer.
All right, so there is this great website called careeronestop.org, and among other things, there's a ton of resources on this page, but one of the things that you can actually do is go into Explore Careers and go to this occupational profile and type in an occupation that you might be interested in. I work with FAME students, so they are involved in industrial machinery mechanics. So I'm going to choose that. And then I'm going to put in the Hansville zip code, which I do not always remember. And we're going to search. And this is what we come up with. So the first thing it's going to tell you is what these people do. Like, what is this job? Just a very general description. The next thing here is also known as. And so this gives you kind of, if you're doing research on a particular career that you're interested in, it would tell you, oh, this is also known as an industrial machinery mechanic, a maintenance mechanic. All of these different things would help you research this particular career option. Each one of them has these nice little 2-minute career videos. So it kind of shows you the environment that the person might work in and talks about what the job entails. Kind of going along with what Jamie was just talking about, one of the things that it provides you is this projected employment information. And so it breaks it down by your state and then by the US. And so by looking at this, we can see that there's supposed to be significant growth and projected growth in this particular career. So if you live in the state of Alabama, this might be something that there would be demand for over the next 5 to 10 years. And then we go down here and it gives you the typical wages that and this is particularly in Northwest Alabama. So obviously we have the median and then the 10% to the 90. All of this stuff is going to have the differing amounts is going to have to do with experience. It's going to have to do with educational background, certifications, all of those type of things. But this kind of gives you a general idea of what the low to the high income might be for this particular job. Obviously, we've got information about education here, what is required or what people usually have. And then we'll scroll down here and then it talks about something that I think is very important and definitely relates to what Jamie's talking about, which is the activities, what you might do in a day. So this gives you kind of an overview of what a day in the life of an industrial machine mechanic might be like and what you could expect to do, kind of looking to see if that's something you might be interested in. And then, of course, we've got the skills and abilities, which are both things that she was talking about. Skills that are going to be on the cutting edge and important if you're wanting to go into this particular career. So this is a great resource. You can literally search any kind of job that you could possibly be interested in. And there are a lot of other reports and links that this would take you to, but that's just kind of an overview.
That is a really awesome resource, especially in terms of giving you an idea of what you're going to do during the day. Before, when I first started looking at jobs, this is going to sound kind of funny, I'm going to sound dated, but the internet didn't exist. And so you just tried stuff, right? And I can't tell y'all how many times I got to a job and was like, wait, you want me to do what? I had no idea it was part of the job description because there was no way to find that out. So the Career One Stop is a really great resource to not have any surprises, when you're starting to explore a field. Another thing I kind of want to mention along that Ikigai line is what you can be paid for. So I can't tell you as a therapist how many people I meet who make great money who are really unhappy in their work. And the reason I like that Ikigai setup is because it gives equal weight to how much you make and what you love is, right? I talked to someone the other day who is making, just tons of money and is so unhappy that is willing to scrub floors. He's willing to do anything else but what he's doing now. And that's hard. That's a hard life to live, to go in and day out. So I have this really interesting statistic that I was reading about the other day. So when someone is making $5,000 a year, they tend to be really unhappy, right? It's hard to pay for things. Every day is a struggle. Once your basic needs are met, which on average in the United States is around $50,000 a year, and that's, you have to remember that's the US as a whole. So there's a lot of variance there. But once you hit 50,000 in the United States, you start to become happy. As you climb above 50,000, between 50,000 and 1 million, there's almost no measurable difference in happiness gains. Think about that. Once your needs are met, you don't become more happy because you make more money. The things that make people happy, again, those top three, autonomy, competence, and relatedness, kind of relate to some really important psychological things, right? So having freedom is really important to people. The more free you are, a certain amount of money provides you a certain amount of freedom, right? Competence, feeling like you're skilled, feeling your value, self-confidence, right? Those things make people happy. And relatedness, having people in your life, that makes you happy. Everything else is just icing on the cake, and it doesn't make that big of a difference unless you love icing, which I do. Bad example. Okay, so I wanted to get that out of the way because I know money is important. You definitely have to have enough to pay your bills. You have to have enough to have your needs met. And I would even say you have to have a certain amount so that you have the freedom to do things that you love. But it's not the whole picture. And so I wanted to say something about that. Okay, so you're like, that's great, thanks. I know all these things that I need now, but how do I figure out what I want to do? So again, referring back to what I said before about passion, it's about an exploration. And part of that exploration is assessments. So I sent y'all on that worksheet 4 assessments that can kind of give you an idea of things that you like and don't like. So the first one, 16 personalities, is often referred to, this is a free version of the Myers-Briggs. And what I like about this assessment is that it doesn't just tell you what you should do. It kind of tells you things that you like or dislike. So I'm an introvert, and it helps me to be in an office by myself. Working in a group with a bunch of people is stressful for me. And so MBTI helped me realize that I need to find jobs that aren't going to be noisy and really active. I need to find something where I can be an introvert, right? The Strengths Finder is another really awesome one. So there's 2 versions. The High Five test is a free version. It's great. It's really great. But if you want to pay for one that's a little more detailed, strengthsfinder.com is another really good one, but there's a fee attached. So I wanted to give you 2 options there. And the next one is a Holland Code. That's the one you're probably going to see the most on college websites. That's going to give you really specific jobs. And finally, I gave you a values sorter. And I think a value sorter is important. It's something I wish I had known about when I was younger. So when I told you about all the jobs I had, did you notice that they were kind of all over the board? Like, I was all over the place because I didn't know to match my values with my work. I didn't realize how important it would be that I was in a field of education. I didn't realize how unhappy I would be in retail when one of my values is minimalism. Can you imagine someone who lives a minimalist lifestyle selling people stuff? I was terrible at it. So knowing your values gives you an idea of what sort of things you might enjoy and might be really miserable in. One super important thing that I want to tell you about all of these quizzes. I say quizzes, they're not quizzes. They're technically psychometric tests. So I gave you ones that have really strong validity and reliability. So they measure what they're supposed to measure and they do it pretty consistently. But the truth about personality is, if it doesn't feel right, you are right, not the test. Okay? Let me repeat that because this is really important in general when it comes to making decisions. Trust yourself, trust what you know about yourself, and be solid in that. So what you feel about who you are is gonna trump a test any day, okay? So if it feels funny or not, like, well, that's not really true of me, then you're probably right. Okay, so Bethany's gonna talk about some job shadowing and internship options, which is another way to kind of explore careers.
So job shadowing is something that I never did. Most of the things that we're telling you about are things that I never did. A lot of that had to do with the fact that I didn't have really the access from in the high school that I went to. And some of it just had to do with the fact that my parents didn't really go to college, and so they didn't really know how to navigate that career option and that sort of thing. And so these are things that can be really beneficial to you when you're trying to decide what you want to do with your life. So job shadowing is more of a short-term thing. It's something that you might go do for like a few hours or a few weeks, but it allows you to go in and follow somebody in a field that you're interested in. It's kind of, an opportunity to ask them questions about what it's like to have the job that they have, what kind of obstacles they find in their daily task, what they like about it. It's something that usually a high school counselor or a career coach or your local community college can help you in setting up. And if they don't have an established program, at the minimum, they can connect you to companies who may be interested in allowing you to job shadow. So if you find yourself interested in like 5 different industries, job shadowing will be a great option so that you can kind of get a feel for what those are like. Now internships, that's something that I kind of see that as happening when you kind of narrow down and you're trying to, test drive the occupation. It's usually something that, is going to be a little bit longer. So you're looking at maybe at least a semester to a year. And one of the things that it does is allows you to build your resume. So if this is something that you've sort of narrowed and you're thinking, okay, I'm going to go this direction, or I think I want to, you're building those skills that Jamie's been talking about. The other thing is that it's going to let you network with local people in the industry that you're interested in. And obviously making those connections is a really important part when you're looking to actually go into that field. So we actually have all kinds of different internships that our students participate in. And I actually talked to our work-based learning coordinator because I wanted to kind of highlight a few of them. So we have a student from electronics technology who participates at St. John and Associates. We have some folks from culinary arts who actually is doing an internship at Duchess Bakery, which I think sounds like so much fun. We have mechatronics students at LP here in Coleman. We have an automotive student who works at Russell Marina. And then we always have companies contacting us who are looking for individuals to participate in internships. We have some right now, like with the Chamber of Commerce and different child development opportunities. So those are posted on our social media sites anytime that we get them. And that's the Career and Workforce Development social media site. And then we also, if you go to the Wallace State website, you can actually go to the Career and Workforce Development page, and our job postings for internships would be on there as well. So I hope that you'll take advantage of those. If you don't see an internship on our website, but you have something that you're interested in, you can always come and talk to our office, and we can maybe help you find a company that would be good for that. So.
Thanks, Bethany. And how come I didn't know we had interns at Duchess Bakery? I feel like we should be getting some donuts if that's happening. That's really cool. I wasn't aware of these options either. When I was younger, it was you picked something and you did it and you stayed in it forever. No one even talked about switching. So I hope this was helpful. We're going to end the recorded portion here in a moment, and then give you all a chance to unmute and talk about if you feel like it, no pressure, where you're at and if there's anything we can do to help. Or I'm going to type my email in here so you can also email me. If you take the assessments and you just want to talk to someone about it, I'm available for that. I really hope, though. Oh, go ahead.
I'm so sorry. I'm going to also put in our work-based learning coordinator's email address if you are interested in internships. And she will be happy to talk to you about those.
Awesome. Yeah, she's super sweet. So I hope that I've left you with the feeling that, whatever choice you make, it's not permanent. That there's a really big world out there for you to explore. And I hope that you get a sense of excitement about it, that you work on developing rare and valuable skills so that you continue to grow as a professional over time. And then you just enjoy the experience, because it can be a lot of fun to try different things. And like I said, it's not permanent. I meet people all the time who are starting at a new career, a new job, at all ages. So you've definitely got this.